My goodness, you have quite a few questions here. I am sorry, I will do a better job. I am hiring an assistant. It is my commitment to you to get my act together. So I'm sorry that I just posted the question and answer thing last night. However, obviously you guys have plenty to fill this hour. So I'm sure we've met, but if we haven't, my name is Taryn Leiker and I am from Hays, Kansas. Why am I sharing this? Because I'm an expert? No. Because I have a lot of letters behind my name? No. I am sharing because I have experienced this particular line, this particular approach for the last 5.5, almost 6 years. Hello, Yesenia and Kelly. So glad to have you on. Allie, hey girl, I'm glad we got to talk. But the reason why is I've seen this for the last 5.5, almost 6 years in over 15,000 people. And so what I am sharing is my experience in utilizing this and also understanding what is our body telling us? What is it saying when it's Danielle Fenster? I'm so proud of you. I'm so sorry I got distracted, but Danielle Fenster just won the cruise. Whoop whoop, that a girl. So proud of her. That's her second cruise. Are you kidding me? Anyway, squirrel. But that's what I'm sharing. And so it's because I've seen real people's lives change, not in theory, not in clinical studies, not this mask. These are real people. And so that's what I'm sharing. But what I've understood about the human body to what is it telling us when it's doing XYZ, what's at the root of it? Because if we can establish what the root is, then we can take care of XYZ. And so that is what I'm sharing with you from the heart, from my experience. So you are responsible for what you do or do not do with this information. You can always double check with a doctor. Hopefully you can have the proper questions to ask, the proper wording. Because for me, I love my doctor, but my doctor is also like a plumber or a handyman or an electrician. If they're not willing to work on the project in the way that I want the project done, in a way that's going to make the project efficient, I hire a new one. And so this is my body and I'm going to make the decision. And so I just want to make sure that I have somebody that's on the same. Can I have that piece, babe? My handsome husband, my handyman of choice, just walked in with my matcha. Anybody else like matcha? He's so proud of himself. He goes, yes. So anyway, thank you for joining us today. I love emojis. You get a lot more out of me with emojis. If you learn something new, please tell me that. If it's a powerful moment, like drop the bomb that you're like, whoa, are you serious right now? But I would like to say, if you are not currently a part of the Peach Booty behind the scenes look that Xtina Harmsworth is allowing us to see, her transition, what she's utilized since October, her experience, it is powerful. She's not impure. She's not one of those that's building this as a business. She is just sharing her experience. And I love the raw transparency. I love for us to hear it from somebody that is just a happy customer. And so you should definitely plug into that. And if you have not yet been a part of that, you can put a peach in the comments and we will add you to that. It is a great way to share too. Say you were watching this video and it's like, oh my gosh, my mom needs to hear about this, or somebody needs to hear about this. That's a way you can actually share this with them too. So completely up to you. But congratulations, Danielle, on the cruise. And yes, Ashley, you want to love matcha, so it counts. Here's how I do matcha. Here's tip 1. So I do not follow their directions. It is far too gummy when I follow their directions. So I actually do 10 ounces of cold almond milk, and then I do 4 to 6 ounces of cold water, and that's what I put 1 scoop or 1 packet of matcha in. So that's what I do here, but I love it. It's really good. Like, I actually crave it like this, but the first couple times I had it, I was like, I don't know how I'm doing that, because that's nasty. Sounds like Ashley's in the same boat. So anyway, okay, so here we go. Let's address, this came via private message, so for the one that messaged me, you know who you are, and here's your answer. And if you ever have questions that you're like, I really want this answered, but I don't want my name on it, I will respect that wholeheartedly, but you have no idea how many of the same things come in my inbox that other people are wanting to know. So if you ever have a question that you don't want to put in the comments, put question and answer session, please don't put my name, and then type out your question. I will make sure it is anonymous. Okay, so that's my commitment to you, but let's let everybody learn from that little session. So, all right, private message. Please address acid reflux, hormone imbalance, inflammation, pain, and weight gain. Okay, could you maybe touch on each one of these and help me understand which products would work best and which ones to avoid? Can somebody do me a major favor? Because so many of these question and answer sessions, we forget what we talk about. So if somebody can type acid reflux, somebody can type hormone imbalance, somebody can type inflammation and pain, and then weight gain, that would be awesome. So as I cover certain topics, if somebody wants to type what that is, then we'll always be able to go back in the search bar and find these little gems. So let's do that for each other. So acid reflux, let's talk about that. Basically, what you have is poor digestion. So what we need to do is get digestion functioning properly. Also, we see that there are some same culprits, because one of the things that can be a factor in this is inflammation. You also mentioned inflammation and pain. So the fact that that goes back to, what do we use for inflammation and pain? We use sulfur and we use mangosteen. Thank you so much, Peggy. You have no idea how much I appreciate you. That's awesome. What do we use for digestion? We use that green bottle, noni. And so those are the things that you want to start writing out. Ooh, well, these are some things, because what you want to do is figure out what is the common link. So when it's digestion, I would say sulfur and I would say noni. Then when you find inflammation and pain, you want to have sulfur, noni, and mangosteen. Peggy, seriously, thank you. Everybody show Peggy some love. She's doing amazing. So that's what I would start to write out on a list, because you've already found something that is common denominator. You found mangosteen and you found sulfur that are common denominators. So what we want to do is get the body chemistry balanced. We want to bring down inflammation. We want to get the system on a calm mode. So that's going to be very beneficial when you utilize the core 4. Very important, because we want to cleanse out anything that doesn't belong. We want to balance that body chemistry so that it's happy, healthy, and a great breeding ground. Then we want to make sure that it has what it needs as far as tools go, and that's going to be in our daily build multivitamin. Then we are going to help with B vitamins, helping our adrenals, helping the pancreas, helping the gallbladder, all of those things, the kidneys, the liver, all of that is in the energy blend. So that's a huge benefit. Also stress adaptogen, because stress can often be a culprit as well in our acid reflux. And so you might be able to pinpoint some different things that, when you may experience more acid reflux when this is stressing you out. So stress can be a culprit too. So what we want to do is the core 4, and then you start listing out these things. So sulfur, noni, and mangosteen are going to help with the inflammation and pain with the acid reflux, okay? Now, hormone imbalance. What is responsible for helping with your hormones? We've talked about this so much in the last 3 weeks. What organ is responsible for the hormones? I know your endocrine system does a lot, but what regulates whether the hormones are released in the blood or not? You're so welcome, Teresa. I want you guys to chime in and start answering. So which organ is it that we need to show some love to when our hormones are out of balance? It's the one that can be attacked when we have a lot of medications in our system, because it's our filter system. It has over 500 functions that it performs on a daily basis. So somebody chime in, what is that organ? Yes, Teresa, you win. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Kelly, you're spot on. It is the liver. So awesome. Yes. Thank you, Peggy. Gosh, you're so good. So the liver is definitely a culprit when it comes to hormone imbalance. It also is something that when you see pain and inflammation, it starts to beg the question, is the liver happy or not? So because the liver, the primary way that we can actually detoxify it is through the sulfur. It's going to get out heavy metals. It's going to take all of those things out. So all of those things, look, you already have 3 reasons that your body's saying, please give me sulfur. I need sulfur. I need help. So that is a clear indicator when you see something multiple times that you need it, that it is something that you have identified that root, and you are going to see how it's going to benefit A, B, and C, because you're taking the one thing that can help it. So when you start to pick up on patterns in that, that's a huge benefit. So are you guys learning something? Does that help when I talk about it like that? So overall, what I would do if I were you, I would do the core 4. I would do the super fruits, because it's cheaper in the bundle when you have one of each bottle. And then with hormone imbalance, I also use Goyen a lot. So I would do the 5-pack. Thank you, Peggy. I'm so glad that that's helping. I would do the 5-pack. So the one that has each bottle, and then the Goyen. So that would be really powerful. Then I would make sure that I'm consistent with those things, and you should be really good to go. You can also use Adapt if you're stressed. You can use Calcium K Plus if your sleep is off, because that can further identify some things with the hormones, but that's what I would utilize. One of your best packs is actually going to be the Lasting Fitness Pack, because it has all of those things in there except for the calcium, so that's an easy add-on. So that's a way that you could get everything that you need and then just on a monthly basis kind of replace what it is that you use. So that's what I would do. Let's talk about menopause. Menopause is something that's one of those cycles, and it's basically when your hormones are going to get off whack for a little bit because we're going into a different season. So again, the base is going to be Core 4, but then Calcium MK Plus can help with the hot flashes. Goji would be a really good benefit to make sure that your hormones stay wherever they're going to be, but help them not to go from here to here to here to here to here to here. It's going to keep more of a balance. So there's still going to be, you're going through a transition in life. So it's still going to be a little bit of this, but it's not going to be high, low, high, low. And so Goji, Goian, and then calcium would be a huge benefit there. Now, be aware when you do take sulfur, this can increase hot flashes in some women. And Lindsay Anderson actually posted something about that. I wonder if I can find it real quick. Or Lindsay, you can chime on if you want. But Lindsay just mentioned something here. She said her mom mentioned that she actually started doing her sulfur at different times to avoid doing it right before bed, and that adjustment helped tremendously with hot flashes, because a lot of hot flashes can happen at night. You don't want to wake up in a hot sweat. And so if you adjust that so that it's not so close to bed, you can absolutely do that. So that's a huge benefit. And thank you, Lindsay, for sharing that. Lindsay is definitely one of the most amazing team players that we have, because she shares and gives so much, and she doesn't have to, but she is a huge part. So show Lindsay some love. Love you. There's my half heart because I've got my matcha in my hand. So that is menopause. And if you notice that there's excess weight with menopause collecting on your hips, thighs, and waist, you could utilize Metabolic One, you can utilize green coffee bean, and you can utilize Adapt as well. So those might be some additional things that you could take so that you don't get the full gamut of what should be happening in the body, or could happen, I should say, during menopause. So hopefully that helps. Hello, Lori Williams. I'm so glad you're on. Your sparkle just did. That woman wears sparkles so well. She's got some sunglasses that she's going to send to me as soon as she's done with them, because they're amazing. All right, for Chelsea Smith, she says, hey, I have a coworker who takes a pre-workout from Costco and they end up crashing post-workout because of the caffeine. I don't crash with the GPS products. However, do any of them have caffeine? She wants to try them, but wants to cut caffeine intake. So again, the supplement industry is not regulated. So that's one of the reasons why I am avidly against utilizing something that I don't know somebody that has a personal experience with. And so one of the main reasons that people can crash when it's over the counter is there's not a full blend. You know, chili can be really spicy, which is why it has brown sugar to cut that spice. So there's a good formulation. It's not about just making it really hot and spicy. You do something so that the palate gets to experience all things. Kind of the same formulation idea in our sports line. We have things that, yes, they do have caffeine, but they have adrenal supports in them. So the caffeine and the adrenal support is a good blend to make sure that the body is not affected in a negative way by the caffeine. It is used for the workout. It is utilized by giving your body what it needs during that time frame. Therefore, it's not something that is harmful, which is why you don't experience that crash, because you have a great formula that is meant to support your body, not force it into action and then, oh, sorry, didn't give you, it's like throwing you out on a bungee cord and be like, oh, I forgot to give you the tether. Sorry, you need the support. Bungee jumping is not something, I mean, it's kind of dangerous, but not dangerous if you have a cord, extremely deadly if you don't have a cord. But does that make sense? So Jen Young asked, when can you take Circulate, Energize, and or Hydrate and Adapt if you don't work out? So Adapt is any time that you have stress, and it doesn't matter if you're handling the stress at all. It's whether or good or bad. It matters if stress is being exposed, therefore it's creating stress hormones in your body that can collect weight on your hips, thighs, and waist. So you don't want to have that negative effect. So you could take stress adaptogen at any time. I like it in the morning and at evenings, especially during times where there's just a season of additional stress. So yes, pre-workout has caffeine and adrenal support, Peggy. So it has both, which is a really good formula. So the Energize, Circulate, and the Adapt together are the pre-workout. Then we have, Lori, you are getting that Adapt. So you'll do that twice a day. That's going to be a big help. It's a major factor. It really is. Hydrate is during the workout, and then there is the recovery or the rebuild right after the workout. So yes. If you worked out in a garden, if you did, hello, Extina, so good to see you. Thank you for walking me through my makeup today. I appreciate you. If you didn't catch that, go back and watch the video replay. We had a great time doing our makeup today together. But if your muscles are sore, if you're not sleeping well, if you've got a lot of fatigue, you could actually use the Rebuild Shake at any time just to really help your body kind of recover. So anytime your body's in a recovery state, I have a lot of people that will utilize it when they've had an injury. Say they sprain an ankle or they stress their muscles out. That is going to go in and help that body repair those muscles. So that's a time you can utilize that. Energize, if you have headaches, if you need a lot of physical energy, you can utilize the energy. So energy is mental clarity. Energize is physical energy. And so anytime you're going to be doing something more demanding, say you went on a trip and you were going to be walking for 5 hours. That's not something most people do in a row, walk for 5 hours. So that's a time that you could take the Energize. If you get headaches, if you have moods, if you have a lack of mental clarity, this is when we do our favorite, the Mood, Mind, Memory Mix. Somebody chime in and tell me what is in the Mood, Mind, Memory Mix. We utilize this a lot. We have people that struggle with Alzheimer's that when they do the Mood, Mind, Memory Mix, they get short spurts to where they feel like themselves again. Kiddos that have ADD, ADHD, this is a powerful thing to get them to feel like themselves again very quickly. Depression, if there's something that they're just having one of those blues days, Mood, Mind, Memory Mix can really help. PTSD, Mood, Mind, Memory Mix. And so it's something that you can do a full scoop of each of these. Let's see if anybody chimed in with those. Yes, Sarah. Yes, 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 yes. Energy, Energize, and Hydrate. That is the Mood, Mind, Memory Mix. Way to go, Xtina. Yes, you guys are so good. Look at this. You're learning. I love it. Mood, Mind, and Memory Mix is the Energy, Energize, and Hydrate. You can do a half scoop of each, or you can do a full scoop of each. Completely up to you. The headache mix, yes, Teresa, that is a huge benefit for migraines, headaches, those types of things. So that's another way that you can use it. Circulate. This is what it does. It gets circulation going in your body. So it's going to deliver things deeper into your tissue and more efficiently. So what I like to do is say I've been misbehaving in my food and I'm like, oh, I really did not start this day off very well. And I need to build good blood because I've got a lot of junk going through my system. I will build good blood and circulate it. So that's when I will say if I've had a terrible morning as far as eating, I will be really good to my body at lunch. I will take daily build and things that are good for me. And that is the blood I want to circulate throughout my body. I want to deliver those nutrients faster. So this is when I'll mix up a hydrate and a circulate so that that vasodilator is going to deliver all of that goodness much quicker to my body and much more effectively. So that's a way that I utilize the circulate. So even though you're not an athlete, if you're not like, I'm not going to use a sports line, oh, I'm here to tell you, the only thing I can actually say that might apply to people is going to be the recovery shake, the Rebuild Shake, because everything else I use on a pretty regular basis as a tool for another purpose. I work out every day, and so I utilize that anyway, but there are times when I will leverage that and utilize it. Also, date night strategy. So for those of us that are married, when we are wanting to have that intimate time with our spouse, you can mix up prior to intimate time. You can mix up a hydrate and circulate because that's going to increase blood flow. Therefore, when blood flow goes to certain areas for that experience, it's going to make it a stronger experience, both for male and female. So that's important for both. Then the Adapt will make sure that once tension builds up and it's time to release that tension, that there's a full experience of the tension release, and that is with the Adapt. So I would say those need to be on hand at all times for couples if they want to fully experience that, because that's something that we utilize a lot of in this house. Utilized it last night, actually, date night. So hopefully that helps you with understanding how to utilize the workout line, even if you're not working out. Crystal, energy is safe twice a day is the max that we do. Just because there's no sugar in it, there's no artificial sweeteners, but what it does have is sugar alcohols. And that's not a huge deal, but as you get a lot of them throughout the day, it can start to affect gut flora. And so sugar alcohols is something that can be found in other foods that we buy at the grocery store. So you just want to minimize your sugar alcohols, but they don't have the effect on the blood sugar that they should. That's why it's safe for diabetics. And so, but it gives that little bit of a sweetness flavor without having the harmful effects on the body. However, you don't want them in abundance. So that's why energy just twice a day is typically what I would do, unless you've got something else going on. Sonia says she does a mix of energy, energize, hydrate every day before she goes to work, and she feels great. It's very powerful. It really is. And Carrie Ann of the date night strategy, she goes, it works. I'm just saying. Ashley, can you take too much Circulate in a day? I would stick with 2 max. I don't think there would be a need to do more. Unless you were doing something like a Tough Mudder or a marathon or something along those lines. If you need to keep that going, you can. But it's not going to be on an overload by any means. So yes, intimate time, libido recipe. Peggy Miller, you are amazing. Thank you so much. Everybody, please show Peggy some love. She is recapping this so that when we go to the search bar and Pure Results, we are going to find this again and be like, oh, I know she talked about this. I know she talked about this. Thanks to Peggy, we are going to be able to find it. Yes. Thank you for spending this time together. I just love you. Okay, so that answers that question for you, Chelsea Smith. And Crystal Kowski says, hey y'all, so my breastfeeding journey is ending. While it sucks that my little one cannot handle my milk, I know he's still going to grow and thrive. Yes, he will. Way to give him such a great base. Anyways, I want to add in the cleanse products and anything else that will help me shed weight. Any recommendations? So yes, I want to know too, right? It's helpful for all of us, Peggy, because it's like, shoot, when did I talk about Crohn's? I know I talked about it. Danielle and I were trying to find Crohn's yesterday. So if anybody remembers which video I talked about Crohn's, please tag Danielle or me in it. That'd be great. So you're going to hit the gym 4 to 5 days a week along with a clean diet. So here we go. When you are ready to go from breastfeeding into shedding weight, what we're going to implement is you'll go to the cheat sheet and see which products you've not been utilizing that are in the cleanse platform that you can introduce. So that is going to be your best resource, is going back to the cheat sheet and how to get started, because basically you're starting over again with some of the new products. So I do cover a lot, don't I, Peggy? I'm glad you feel that way too, because sometimes I'm like, whoa, my brain just got a full workout in that one. So liquid cleanse is what I would be starting in the evening. You could definitely add Pure Cafe. Oh my goodness, that one is a major weight shedder. That is a hidden tool. Now, please note, Pure Cafe actually has green coffee bean in it, so you do not take Pure Cafe and green coffee bean at the same time. You can take the Metabolic One. However, most people don't need it, because Pure Cafe is going to rev up your energy. It's going to rev up your whole system. So it's got a thermogenic effect. So there's usually not the need for anything else when you take a Pure Cafe. But that's something that you could incorporate in the morning that would be incredible. And you'll see that in the cheat sheet that I talk about Pure Cafe. So the cheat sheet is something you're going to want to incorporate. But you can now utilize Metabolic One and green coffee bean, which are huge benefits for weight. And I really want to make sure you continue to fuel your body. Be very consistent with the calcium, with the daily build, because you need to be fueling you now, because everything that you're providing your body is now going to be used by you. You're no longer growing a baby, and you're no longer responsible for feeding baby. Didn't mean to do that, but anyway, you get the point. And so you actually get to keep a lot of your resources now. So we need to fuel you, because when your body knows that, hey, it's my time, it's going to get back into balance very quickly. I do not want your workouts to be ridiculous, because you just went through a full workout of feeding your baby every day after you just went through a full workout of growing a baby every day. So the last thing you want to do is try to cut things and then add intense movement at the same time. So give yourself some grace. Do not be on the cardio machine at a 10 for 50 minutes. That's ridiculous. So make sure that you allow yourself to ease in. Make sure that you're stretching. Make sure that you are foam rolling. Make sure that you are giving your body that grace to ease into this new season, because I see people over exercise and undernourish, which then puts us back in a deficit. Therefore, your body gets scared and it holds on to even more weight. And that's not what you want to do. So exercise is fantastic. Pushing your body is fantastic. You have to fuel accordingly. And just remember, your body's going to be cleansing now. So that's already going to be a little bit of a stressor on your body. So give yourself some time in that. So grace. Right? Oh my goodness. Let's see. Next question. Using energy with someone, problems with AFib. Oh, I need to go back and look at that one. Let me. Irregular heartbeat. So when they want to utilize the energy, really, if they want to, they can just avoid these products entirely if they want to. But if they've got something like that going on, I would have them start really small. So this is when I would take 1/4 of a scoop or 1/4 of a packet and see how they do. So ease into things. Anytime we have something that it's like, I'm not sure how the body's going to react, test it. Because sometimes even with skincare, if we're not sure how our skin is going to react to something, we don't put it all over our entire face all the time. Sometimes we'll just do a little sample or a sample just to see how it's going to react in our body. So there's little testing things with supplements too, so you can utilize just a little bit of a packet, but that's what I would start with and then work their way up. You can also, instead of slamming it in 15 to 20 minutes, you could add more water and sip on it throughout the day to get the benefits of it without triggering that AFib. So hopefully that makes sense. Let's see, I would love to know what you know about how to help autism, ADD, ADHD, and arthritis. So let's talk about autism first. Yes, very slowly. If she's drinking coffee, iced tea, and soda, like, come on now. She's already getting the caffeine. Caffeine is not an issue. Energy is the last thing that we need to be concerned about when people have that kind of thing. It always cracked me up. Does anybody have this experience? They're sharing with somebody, like, I'm going to have to check the ingredients of this with my doctor, and I really need to double check this. And here they are slurping on a supersized something. They just finished eating their fries and their Big Mac, and I'm like, are you kidding? Danielle, didn't Xtina do great? She guided me. I so appreciate her. But seriously, when people do that, I'm like, are you kidding me? I know you were not checking every single thing that you were putting in your mouth, and if you're really scared of vitamins, come on now. Ridiculous. Rant over. Okay, so autism. First of all, let's figure out what is going on in the body. There is obviously a system. Oh, that's your mom. I'm so sorry, Carrie, but seriously, right? So autism, what system is being affected? A lot of times it is the brain. It could also be the gut, and the gut and brain are very connected. So what I'd like to do when we have somebody with autism is make sure that the brain is happy, healthy, and getting the proper fats and nutrients. My favorites for this is Mila and acai. Those are my two favorites for that system. Next is going to be oftentimes heavy metals are a big culprit with this. So how do we get heavy metals out of that body? We can get heavy metals out by chelation in natural ways, so you could incorporate more cilantro, things like this. You can also utilize small amounts of liquid cleanse if it's a child, so liquid cleanse can be beneficial in tiny amounts. Also, my favorite is organic sulfur. Organic sulfur can break the blood-brain barrier and pull heavy metals out, so it can actually get them out of the brain. Interesting thing, when people have chin strap outbreaks here, that is heavy metals being pulled from the brain. this is where it drains them. So when people have this and like little acne show up that they may not have had, it's a really good sign it is temporary because it's pulling the heavy metals out and it's pulling them out in this area. So exciting to see. When we got our organic sulfur product years ago, I'd had beautiful skin for so long, and then all of a sudden chin strap breakouts. And it was because so much was stuck up here. I had struggled with depression for so long. This was a affected area, so that was crazy. Yep. Right, Danielle? We see this. So Ashley, I love that you just did that. Beautiful. Take notes from what Ashley March just did. She tagged somebody that she knows that something applied to somebody at a certain mark. That is huge to help people with this. So awesome. Love it. You guys are really getting the hang of this. Struggled with irregular heartbeat for 2 years. Within about 2 weeks of adding calcium MK, I've noticed irregular heartbeat one day. Yes, and why is that? That is because your heart is a muscle, and the main thing that your muscles need is magnesium, and there's an amazing amount of magnesium and the calcium that helps your body to actually absorb and utilize it better in the calcium K+. Plus, it's making sure that that K vitamin keeps your blood at a regular consistency. So that formulation is so good for the heart. So yes, thank you for mentioning that, Kelly. Back to back to autism. So that's how we help the brain. That's how we pull things that are coming from it. Now let's talk about the intestines. We want to make sure inflammation is down, which we do with sulfur. Then we want to make sure that there are proper ratios in the gut flora. Gut flora should be 80% good, 20% bad. We need both. So how can we do that? Mila is a huge benefit. My favorite thing to do for this is probiotic. Just as you feed your baby colostrum to set their gut flora, we can reset our gut flora, because anytime we've been on antibiotics or something has wiped out our intestines, we need to reset this. So I like silver sprayed in the mouth 3 to 5 times a day, because that's going to help kill anything bacteria-wise, virus-wise that doesn't belong. Now, this is my favorite. I like to do probiotic, a series of them. Now, I'm going to give you the most extreme way that I go, and then I'm going to give you the lower way. So based on age, based on what's necessary, based on how serious it is, you can kind of see. The most that I've ever done is having, and this is going to sound crazy, but I've actually done this in my own body. I did 5 probiotics 5 times a day for 5 days. That's the extreme. Then you could start somebody else at 5 probiotics once or twice a day. Then the next day, you can scale it down. So you could go to 4 probiotics for that day, or 4 probiotics twice that day. So that's the lower end. Or you could go 5 probiotics 5 times a day for 5 days, then go to 4 probiotics 4 times a day for 4 days, then 3 for 3 for 3, you get the point. So you could do that, but that's this extreme, and then you could just start at the 5 for 1 day, 4 for 1 day, 3 for 1 day, 2 for 1 day, 1, and keep that consistent. So what we want to do is reset that gut health so that that good flora is in there. So that's my approach with that. Yes. Oh, that's so good. Carrie Ann, awesome. So glad you just said that about calcium MK. My mom took some instinctively. Your body knows what it needs to help her heartbeat situation last night, and it totally helped. She also had 2 tablespoons of Mila. One thing I want to say about Mila, when you need something to work, keep it outside of Mila. You could take them, but keep it at least a good 15 to 30 minutes away instead of mixing them together, because sometimes Mila has too much fiber to where it might hinder the process of letting whatever you take it with absorb. So I actually like my Mila with water, or if I have a bonus shake during the day. If I have like a rebuild shake after my workout to help my muscles, I'm not mixing anything in that. But if I want a bonus shake later on in the day for nutrient content and protein, I will add Mila in that, because it's not huge if it absorbs a little bit slower. It's not a major deal if the fiber hinders a little bit of that, because it's just a bonus shake. So she had them separate. That's so awesome. But I keep forgetting to mention that because I was told that I was doing it wrong for a long time, because I was taking my rebuild shake and throwing a whole bunch of stuff in it. I had my greens in there, I had my Mila in there, I had this in there, and I didn't realize I was hindering the absorption, and so I just wanted to share that little nugget with you. So hopefully that helps, but cool. All right, so autism, that's what I would do, and Goji can really help all of the systems as well. So my favorite regimen for autism is going to be the Core 4. Now for kids, definitely scaling back on the cleanse and waiting a while. Then I like Goji, calcium, sulfur, and acai, and Mila. Probiotic for that reset time, but that is my favorite thing that we see really good results with. So that's my favorite. Now ADHD. Right, Ashley? You've been putting that in. You're going to see a big, I didn't know either, girl. You're going to see big results with changing that one thing. So that's really good. So now let's talk about ADHD. So what is happening is their body is not able to rest. It is constantly firing. And so it's either in fight or flight mode, but it's drained. So it's not resting at night, might sleep, but that's tossing, that's turning, that's never getting into a sleep that's like totally zoned out at where your body is able to go into repair mode. So I want you to tell me, what is the number one thing that we can utilize to get the body to rest, to calm and relax those muscles? What is it that we can utilize? Because this is a major factor. So, and with everything, there's typically what we do long-term to help the system get rebuilt and retrained. And then a lot of times we have, yes, Ashley, way to go. It's calcium. Calcium is what helps the body to rest. So this is a major thing for ADD, ADHD. But there's the rebuilding phase, and then there's the immediate help. So say we have hormones that are off and they're causing a lot of migraines. Well, we need to reset and get our hormones in balance, but then we also need immediate relief. The headache is here today. So that's when we would take the mood, mind, memory mix immediately, but that's where we're going to utilize the core with the Goyin, with the Goji to help with the hormones and the sulfur long term. Does that make sense? So we have our immediate gratification and we have the rebuilding of the system. And so that's why when people say, well, what can I do for this? Well, you could do this right now, but I don't want to just take care of this. I want to take care of the reason that that even came about. So that's really powerful. Yes! Tisha, that is so awesome. She said, since Pure, Caleb, her son, is no longer on Adderall for ADHD. Yes! Every time you guys tell me that a medication is off, do you know what plays through my head? Another one bites the dust, and another one gone, and another one gone, and another one bites the dust. Every time, like, we get so excited. In fact, if I play that song, the kids, they're like, yep, another medication gone, another medication gone. So anyway, it's my secret little celebration. Now you know. Now you're gonna get it too. It's so exciting. Yes. So anyway, but getting their body to fully rest is really important. And then also to get that immediate focus, you can do the mood, mind, memory mix. You could also just do the energy, or you could do the energy hydrate. So that's going to help tremendously. But the base of rebuilding the system and getting it happy, healthy, and functioning is going to be the Core 4 with Goji and the sulfur. So those are the main things that really help with that in a powerful way. So those two things. Arthritis. Okay, now let's talk about that. So arthritis, a couple things here. We are, yes, let's celebrate that. Caleb, yes, way to go, Tisha and Caleb. So arthritis is typically going to tell you that the body is in a more acidic state, because when our body starts to steal from our joints to where they become weaker, it's usually a sign that the body is too acidic versus alkaline, or slightly balanced to alkaline. We don't want to go too alkaline either. That's dangerous. But most of the time with our standard American diet, we go more on acidic versus alkaline. And so here's what we know. When the body starts leaching calcium, it's because the body's too acidic, and so it's needing to leach the calcium in order to keep the blood in balance, because we have to keep our blood in a standard pH, because otherwise we would die. So our body's not going to let us die over something like that. So it leaches little pinpricks of calcium, utilizes that to balance out the blood, but then that leaves our joints weak. So that is oftentimes what's happening. So what we want to do is, again, Core 4 to get everything into balance. We want to utilize a couple of things. Calcium K Plus is something you want to utilize, because obviously if things have been stolen, Lori, I'm actually talking about your questions right now. So when your body's been leaching calcium, you know it's been stealing it, so we need to replenish it. So calcium MK Plus is going to start replenishing. It also is fantastic at bringing that pH up. So that's going to be a huge help. Second, what can help to rebuild our joints and the cushion between them? What is this one? Anybody know? Also helps with connective tissue. Also helps detoxify the liver. Yes, Teresa, you are on fire today, girl. Sulfur. So sulfur is going to be a main thing that you can utilize. And a lot of times with arthritis, there's a lot of inflammation. So sulfur is going to bring down the inflammation as well. And then immediate relief can be the mangosteen, because that's going to bring down the inflammation, which oftentimes is a source of the pain. You can utilize noni as well. Noni has been shown to help with pain as well. So those are the things that I would utilize when it comes to arthritis. And of course, anytime that you can get really good nutrients in your body, it's going to utilize them and it's going to deliver them into the weak areas anyway. So that is what I would do. So Lori, when you watch the replay of this, we addressed ADD, ADHD, we addressed autism, and we addressed arthritis. So you got your answers. And next, all right, so we have, Ashley said, my sister, I'm taking 1 ounce of Goyan, 1 ounce of Goji, and 2 Adapt, and 1 ounce of Daily Build Daily. Just started the Daily Build yesterday. I'm crampy, feeling icky, and I have diarrhea. Is this making me sick? It's not making you sick. What it's doing is it's resetting your body and basically getting things back into balance. So what you can do is you could scale back on some things. So she could go to 1/2 ounce of each of those and just slowly scale back. And my culprit in that one would be, you're so welcome, Lori. The culprit in that for me would be the Daily Build. Daily Build is usually the one that if I take with too little of food, it can give me a little bit of a looser stool. So I would back off on the Daily Build first and then just see. But anytime you experience something that you're like, ooh, I don't like this, it's not a bad sign. What it is that your body is adjusting, and so you can do one of two things. You can power through, or you can start to scale back on things and take it at a slower pace. So if I'm running a marathon and I'm sprinting it, oh my goodness, that's gonna be pretty interesting. I could walk the marathon. It might take me longer. However, either way, I can finish that thing. Although powering through, sometimes you might not be able to finish. Yes, exactly, resting your body. So it's something that you determine the pace. But what I would do is stay consistent with things unless you identify something as being a major culprit. But when it comes to diarrhea, that's not something that I identify as being culprit, because why does your body have diarrhea? Do you know the purpose of it? It actually has diarrhea because it says, I want to get something out, something needs to go. So if you gave your body a whole bunch of good, none of that really needs to go. So it's probably addressing something that's nasty in your body that it found that it's like, oh, sucker, you got to go. I haven't had the energy, I haven't had the nutrients to kick your sorry butt out of this body, but now I do, so today, get out. So that to me is what it's saying. So that's not a bad thing. Unless you have a little sensitivity, I'm guessing it's not. So I would scale back on the Daily Build first, see how that goes. You could even alternate days. So do it today, don't do it tomorrow, do it the next day. Hopefully you guys learned something. I don't know if I'm just rambling at this point, but that's what goes through this head. And the nice thing is that James backs it up scientifically, because I'm like, this is what, like, in my head is happening right now. Is there scientific evidence for this? And he's like, yes. It's such and such big word, such and such big word, such and such big word. Yes. And I'm like, so is that a yes or a no? And he's like, yes. And I'm like, okay, good. That's all I need to know. So James is the scientist behind a lot of this. And I have a lot of really great friends that love me, so they don't mind that I might not use all the lingo, but they can back up what I say scientifically, and they are the doctors, they are the naturopaths, they are the ones that understand the science behind it. But anyway, hopefully that helps. Heartburn relief. You asked about that, Lindsay Anderson. So Mila and Noni are the main ones. Heartburn is something that is, oh, Sevilla, I'm so glad. And Peggy, thank you for tuning in. Those are the immediates, because heartburn long-term, if you do the core 4 and the Noni, that's going to subside. But Noni, so many people, if they have indigestion, they can take just an ounce or 2 of Noni and that will subside. So those are quick fixes. I'm so glad you don't get the lingo either, Sevilla. I'm in good company. I'm okay with that. Peggy, you me too, because you both are brilliant women, so I will take it. But the heartburn relief, I would do the Noni. Mila can help to calm that, and then I would also utilize probiotic, because if something is off in your digestion, then it's typically happening in a lot of places. You just only notice it in one area. So that's what I would leverage and utilize. So, Okay, Danielle, we are going to go over Crohn's here. Danielle, you're on. I see your beautiful orange dress. I have a matching one, girlfriend. Okay, so here we go. Crohn's. Crohn's is basically a digestive system that is on high alert all the time and very sensitive. So there is a lot. Did Danielle just jump off? I hope she didn't. There's a lot of inflammation when it comes to Crohn's. So inflammation is a key thing that you want to address. So sulfur is my number one. Next, when it comes to Crohn's, the capsule cleanse or the liquid cleanse could be too harsh and could be too much. So this is actually something that I will wait 3 to 4 weeks, unless for some reason they are constipated. I will wait 3 to 4 weeks to incorporate that because I don't want to upset the system and I want to get them wins before we start rocking the boat. It's really important with Crohn's since they're constantly being attacked by things that we want to give them some wins first. So here you start really slow. You get them wins. So number 1 is going to be sulfur. Number 2 is going to be mangosteen. And I know that Sarah Fisher actually utilized this with somebody and saw great results. And we went really, really, really slow. This is also, if you have a friend that is an oil friend, this is a good time to get lavender because that will calm the intestines. That will calm things down. So this is a time that I really encourage people to reach out to a friend that does oils because it's a huge benefit. And they can rub that on their tummy topically. They can also take mangosteen, add a drop to that and consume it. So that's going to calm that system. And that is what they need to be on if there's a flare for Crohn's or colitis. This goes for colitis too. You have a question? What about that? You ask, go for it, Xtina. You can ask a question. So you can definitely do that. So that is during a flare. Next, we want to start to build up their system and give it really great nutrients so it's not overreactive. So I like the superfruits because it has great nutrients, but it's not overwhelming like the Daily Build could be for somebody that has a very sensitive system. So this is where I'd really like for people to get on a, oh, really good question. This is why where I want people to do the superfruits first. So somebody with Crohn's, colitis, sulfur, mangosteen. I like the lavender oil if you can find a really good high quality one. That first, then go to the superfruits. Then, as long as they're doing really well, start to incorporate Daily Build or Energy. Now, here's what I want you to know. We need to start this very slow. So I would start with like 1/4 of an ounce. I would start with 1/4 of a packet because we don't want to upset the system. And this is in the extreme cases, okay? This is where people are really struggling on a consistent basis that they can barely keep anything down. But this is where Reese was actually at, so we utilized a lot of this with her. So anytime you get the system upset, then what you want to do is scale back so that we can calm it back down and then we try our next step again. So that's a really good thing to do, but start to incorporate more and more. And then once we've gotten a good strong base of calming down the inflammation, getting some nutrients, we want to add more nutrients, then calcium K+ would be fantastic because the calcium and magnesium are great for the intestines. And Xtina, your question is next. Then that's going to calm that down. I really like hydrate because the sodium to potassium, sodium is really important for your intestines too. That's going to make sure you have the proper ratios. Then after that, after we have it really happy, healthy, and they're experiencing win after win after win, that's when we need to start getting things out that don't belong and that are hindering the process. And we're going to use liquid cleanse for that, but we are going to baby step, like 1 drop at a time. So that's what we would utilize for Crohn's and colitis. So it's baby steps, it's a longer process. Melanie, I am definitely not the number one to ask about the high quality. I will say I really do like Young Living's oils. Their oils, their lavender is the one that I choose to utilize. So I trust that one. But somebody might have some other sources there. You could look at Young Living and doTERRA would be the 2 that I would look at actually consuming. So the other ones I have not looked into. I have not trusted them in my body. So that's what I would look at. But you want to make sure that they are not a clear container by any means. It needs to be a darker container because it can mess with the quality. But those 2 things I would actually trust. So, Xtina. The reason why, difference between coffee and energy is what we were talking about earlier with the sports line and buying one from Costco or somewhere else versus having the GPS. It's because it has an adrenal support blend. So it's supporting your body. So it's giving it caffeine, but it's counteracting the negative effects of the caffeine at the same time so that it's a wash or actually beneficial to your body. So it's not hurting it. So that's the difference between coffee, which is just a straight up stimulant and caffeinated rush, a punch to your body, versus the blend that is actually balancing it out. Does that make sense? So that's why. Hopefully that helps. And I want to know if you could chime in. I am considering, I know right now, if you are in Pure Results, if you are watching this, you have actually qualified with an order, which is why you're able to stay in here. And so, good, XD, I'm so glad. So you are able to watch this. I am considering doing a question and answer session for people that haven't quite started yet. So if this is something that you think would be beneficial, it would have to be something that would be invite only. I want to know that I'm not just putting this out there on Facebook, that they are being led by somebody that knows and loves the products and that they are not just trolls of information. I did use the word troll, Lori Williams. That this could be something beneficial. I would be happy to do that, but only if it's actually going to be beneficial for you. Because so many of you have said, gosh, I have a friend that has this, I have this. And sometimes it's best for them to be able to hear the information for themselves, and I know you can't share these videos. So if that would be something that would be beneficial, please put in the comments, yes, I would love a question and answer session that is open, something along those lines, so that I know, because I'd like to look at that and see if that's something that we might consider doing. So just a side note. And there was a question in here. Oh, looks like troll, right? Lori, I love you. Looks like that's a yes. Okay, cool. There's one more question. Oh, avoiding caffeine. Here we go. Ashley, if someone says I avoid caffeine, should they steer clear of energy? You inform them. Say, hey, I am going to honor you first and foremost, but can you tell me a little bit about why you avoid caffeine? Is it because of a belief system? Because there are some religions that actually will not use caffeine, so it's actually against their religion. And so I want to honor, but if they tell me, you know what, I just don't want to stimulate my body, or, you know, people say that it's bad for me, then I say, you know what, I can completely understand where you're coming from on that. But the reason why I love this product so much is it doesn't just have something harsh that stimulates the body. What it has is a blend that actually supports it and is actually beneficial for long-term energy as well as giving you short-term energy. And so when somebody tells me that, I let them make the decision. I'm not forcing them into anything. I come alongside them and honor them in that. So that's how I usually do it, and it's very rare that I have to have somebody that avoids caffeine entirely, so that's how I handle that. Yes, don't we all love Lori? Lori's amazing. If you don't know Lori Williams yet, you're going to know her, and she's amazing. Karina says, yes, like your idea, and the question is the entire GPS line off the table for pregnant women. I would do... Let me get back to you on that, because sometimes I get different answers. So energy is what I would actually utilize before the workout. Adapt is a no. Energize in extreme moderation, and I'd only do like a fourth of a scoop if it were me. And then I need to look at the recovery. Let me look into that. I need somebody to remind me to look at that. So cool. Yeah, Ashley, I believe it's Mormons that actually do not promote caffeine, so they avoid that. I found that out a couple years ago. So, yep. Yeah, go back and write that response. So hopefully that helps. So that is Crohn's disease, and that also goes with colitis, because oftentimes when somebody has irritable bowel, colitis, Crohn's, honestly, it's just whatever doctor diagnosed it. It's not like, oh, well, once you get to this, then it's this. Once you get to this, then it's this. So anybody that has irritable bowel, that is the extreme method of scaling back that I just guided you through. And then depending on where they're at with everything, but if they're not at a serious point where it is really affecting their life, that probably would be overkill. But you could still start one product every 3 days, would be really smart. One thing at a time, get them some wins. But the key thing is get them wins. Do not do anything cleansing until we have balanced and built up for at least a good 2 to 3 weeks, because the last thing we want to do is have them be miserable. Okay? So, Karina, will you message me that? Because I'm going to ask that to, I think we need to have a cheat sheet for pregnant people and nursing people. Would that be helpful for anybody? Because I've been thinking that at like 3 o'clock in the morning, I'll wake up and I'll be like, gosh, that would be really beneficial. So you guys are inspiring me with all these really great ideas. And then I wake up and I forget them. But I think a cheat sheet for pregnant and nursing moms would be a really great thing. So if somebody will remind me, I will commit to you that I will get that done. So awesome. Looks like that's a win too. Looks like we're doing these things. Okay, cool. So hypothyroidism and thyroid cancer survivors. So right there, everything that Xena is going over right now in our peach booty behind the scenes look is exactly what I would say. So my favorite pack for this would be the Lasting Fitness Pack, because what it is doing is coming along somebody, supporting their thyroid and building them up in a really powerful way. Thank you, Daniel. So that is what I would utilize, the Lasting Fitness Pack, and I would add Calcium K+. Now, if they recently did chemo and we need to keep the chemo in the body because the whole purpose is to go and attack, then we just take out the liquid cleanse, because then everything else is building up the body and it's not taking out something that doctors want to stay in. So we're going to honor whatever method people have utilized and whatever route they wanted to go. But when it comes to chemo, the only thing that is really a no-go is liquid cleanse, because liquid cleanse will pull chemo out of the body. And chemo, the purpose is to keep it in there. So we can come around the body though and build it up and help it to be healthy so that it can weather that storm and fight that battle right along with that chemo. So that Lasting Fitness package would actually be perfect. And that one really is designed to help the thyroid in powerful ways. So that one is the primary. And this whole journey that Xena is sharing with us is exactly what we did with her. So that is one that I would watch. So if you're not in the Peach Booty behind the scenes group yet page, I would highly recommend putting a booty in the, or not a booty, a peach in the comments, peach booty in the comments, so that we can add you to that, because that's exactly what we utilized. So not cancer, but thyroid support, because that's the system that is saying, help me, in a powerful way. Okay. Mandy Cool asked, I'm curious about side effects with sulfur and what to take with it. For example, I took 3 pills to start and ended up with severe stomach cramps and liquid bowel movements. Whoa, girl, your system needs some cleansing. First of all, the tub versus the capsules are not as potent. It takes 3 capsules per scoop, okay? And then this one takes some work for your body to break down. So I prefer the tub, but anytime you have that kind of an intense reaction from capsules, oh my goodness, your body is basically saying there's a lot that it wants to get rid of, a lot that it wants to cleanse. So this is where we either kind of power through, or we scale back and start with 1 capsule twice a day. Then we go to 2 capsules twice a day. Then we go to 3 capsules twice a day. So you can choose whatever method you want, but what that means is your body found some things that it wants out, and it's going to get them out. And so it's thanking you for allowing it to start pushing things out. But liquid bowel movements over that just means that your body's wanting to get rid of some things and it wants to balance out. So you determine whatever pace, but this is a good sign. So let's work with it a little bit. And you could even do one day where you do something, then give it 2 days off. 1 day, 2 days off. So the goal would be to get those bowel movements to where they're more consistent. So we're looking for soft serve ice cream, Dairy Queen style. But let's see what we can do about that. But just kind of scale back, because that'll be beneficial. And you just had a baby, you just nursed, you just did all these things. So your system's really wanting to get back into a good balance. So that's going to be some things. But medications that are in our system, when our body starts to pull that from the liver, then it can have that type of an effect. Hey Laura, good to see you. I am going to be doing a video for you right after this. So I've got all my notes ready for you. So stay tuned. I'll be getting that to you. Let's see. Next. Barrett asked, what should one take to help adrenal gland function properly? So again, this is one of those that we have immediate and we have long-term. So our long-term is going to be Core 4 with Goji, Goyin, and Adapt is going to help that. Adapt can help right away too though. And then energy. So those are the things that I would utilize and leverage for adrenal glands, because we want to make sure that we are replenishing them. Now, Something to know, if energy makes you tired, that means your adrenals are very tapped and they're actually trying to get you to rest in order to rejuvenate. So it would be important to add calcium K plus so that your body fully rests at night so it can do that process during night instead of during the day, because that's not fun when you take energy and then you're like, oh, I need a nap. But calcium MK plus at night can help with that. And then what you can do, if you physically have to go, you have to move at this time, you can mix up the Moon Mind Memory Mix, and that is going to help give you the physical energy at the time that you need it. So in that short transition, while your adrenals are still replenishing, then that's something that you can do. So that's what I would do to help the adrenal glands function properly. So next, my daughter has suffered from severe joint pain for the last 8 to 9 years. No fun. No doctor has been able to diagnose or treat her. She's been taking the sulfur, 1.5 scoops, superfruits, according to the cheat sheet, Mila, Cleanse, and Daily Build for the last 2.5 weeks. There hasn't been any change in her situation, so there's something more to add. Okay, let's talk about this. Yeah, Crystal, if you're exhausted all the time, please add the calcium K plus and then add Energize at the same time that you take the energy, and that will start to subside. But make sure you're really consistent every day with your energy. And if you have a lot of stress going on, add the Adapt. That's going to be beneficial. Mandy, I just answered your question too. So I know you just jumped on. So you'll want to watch the replay, but I answered your question for you. So, Sue, here's what we need to do. Number one, she's been struggling with this for 8 to 9 years, so we're going to need a little bit of time. And the fact that she's younger, not sure how old she is, but under 18 means that this is most of her life that she's been battling with this. So this has been a consistent thing that will take a little bit of time to undo. So, oh good, Mandy. Glad you're off work and you can join us. So what I would like to see happen is, let's stop the cleanse. I want to stop the cleanse because I want her body to start seeing wins instead of trying to pull things that don't belong. In time, we're going to get there, but right now, I want to give her wins. I want her to feel great. So what I would like to do is sulfur, 1.5 scoops. If she is having any kind of headaches or detoxing or anything along those lines, keep it there. If she's not there yet, I'd like to start increasing this. Increase it by 1/2 scoop. So right now we're at 1.5. I'd like to get to at least 3 scoops twice a day, see where she's at that point. So that's our goal to get to. Don't rush it if she's getting headaches, any kind of detox symptoms, but that's why I'm taking cleanse off of the table, because I want her to get wins first, and we're not gonna go that route. We'll get there later. This is about getting it so that she's not dealing with this for another 8 to 9 years. So next, I want to build her up. I want to give her a lot of wins. 17-year-old, absolutely, Carrie. My son took it at 3. So the cleanse, I am not scared of that in any way, shape, or form. He started with 6 drops, and then we worked him up to 12 over the next year. So you could definitely have that for a 17-year-old. 17-year-old is practically an adult. So yes, no problem. So Sue, back to you. We're going to build her up. So I'd like to make sure that, thanks, Lindsay, we have Daily Build that is consistent. I'd also like to see energy and hydrate on a daily basis. So that would be a key thing that I would like to see, because I want to build. Mila, keep that consistent. Make sure Mila is not taken with anything else other than water, because you're welcome, Carrie-Ann. I want it to have its full effect so that they can get all the good oils. And then also I would like calcium K plus to rebuild those joints. I want the good nutrients. Also on a lifestyle side, I really would like to have you kind of be aware, not ridiculous, but be aware of the alkaline versus the acidic balance in a day. So kind of monitor what is it that she's consuming that is more on the acidic pH versus alkaline pH, and try to keep it in balance to slightly alkaline, because that's going to ensure that our body is actually leveraging and utilizing more and more of what we're actually providing it, rather than being drained, rather than, oh shoot, it barely could function. So a lot of heavy meats that take a lot for the body to break down, pastas, sodas, those types of things, red sauces. So just keep things in balance. Do not stress yourselves out about this, but as best as you possibly can is what I would really focus on. So I'd like to see how she does with that one, but that's what I would do. But cleanse is off the table until further notice. Till she starts noticing some changes, we are not going to drag her body down in any way, shape, or form. So superfruits would be amazing too. All 4 of them would be really, really, really powerful. If she can do all 4 of them or all 5, I count Goyin in that, on a daily basis, at least 1 ounce of each. I'd kind of like 2 ounces of the Goyin. So if we can do that, keep me posted on that, but that's how I would adjust it. And that goes for everyone watching. Anytime that you are feeling like you're not getting the results, take out your cleansers, because cleansers are naturally going to drain the body just a little bit. So just start balancing and building until you notice the wins. Then you can start putting the cleanses back on the table. And that's why we cycle on and off of cleanse products, because it drains, then we can build up, drains, then builds up, drains, then builds up. So that's the kind of cycle that we want to get on, but we don't want to be draining unless you really don't notice it. Because even me being drained on the cleanse consistently for about 3 years, I felt better than I felt years prior. So it wasn't a big deal to me, because I was so bad before that it was like, shoot, this is like 100 times better. So that's what I would do. Let's see. Okay, Allison, search in this group lupus, because I addressed that one entirely on its own, and I went over that in a video of its own. So please watch for that. And then narcolepsy I've gone over. I want to say I'll do that one later on today, because I think it goes hand in hand with seizures, actually. It's the same type of approach. So I'm going to get back to you on both of those, Allison. I have gotten a lot of requests for seizures, and so I'm going to do a video like I did for lupus and Lyme's on this. So it's just going to be a video on its own, so you can always refer back to it. But I'm going to do that right here by today. So you're going to have that. Let's see. Ashley Martz asked for a friend, and we are back to the last 2 questions. I've seen so many people posting about health issues after taking another company's product that claimed to be all natural and good for me. How can I trust that this is actually good for me? I would say by the results of the people that you're seeing and their experience and just watching. The proof is in the pudding. But it's one of those that, is it good for you? Well, look at it. Look at the ingredients. It is good for you. It's not harmful. And something is, people posting about health issues, there is a company, and I'm not going to name names because I'm not like that, but there is actually a health company that is in a similar industry that they have a lot of heavy metals in their products. I don't know if they're aware of it or not, but in naturopaths, when they pull blood work, they can almost pinpoint what the people are on based on that. And so when you start to see a pattern, you know, I would, number one, bring it to the company's attention, say, hey, I know that this is what you represent, but I'm noticing this pattern. Is there something that's going on? Not attacking you, but giving you feedback. But there is one that naturopaths will actually not work with, because when they pull blood work, it is a consistent culprit. And so for what we've noticed is people's health improves. People get better. People do much better. And so you really just kind of have to trust the person that's guiding you, I guess. But I don't know if I'm living proof of it. Your body regenerates every 7 years. It completely turns over. I don't even look like the same person. I have been on this consistently. July 27th will be 6 years. And so there has been a noticeable physical change the entire way. So when you can see somebody that is consistent with it, when you can see somebody has been doing the same thing and they are getting better, that they are transforming, that their skin tone is changing, that their inflammation is changing, that they don't even look like the same person anymore in a positive way, that, yes, the fact that Taryn's been on it for 5.5 years and is healthy, like, not to mention our daughter, not to mention our son, like, the people that are consistent in this get better, get better, get better. I mean, my face changed. I don't even look like the same person. And yes, we have a lot of medical professionals that utilize it. We have a lot of people that, you know, my favorite people are actually on the wellness advisory board for this company. And the way that they got started speaks a lot to me. None of them actually were approached. Right? I look younger now than I did in my old YouTube videos. Those are funny. Oh, Karina, if you found those, aren't they hilarious? I had a terrible haircut back in the day. But anyway, no, I do. I look way younger, way different. Like, I look better now than I did at 18. And I feel better, which is crazy to me. Nobody could pay me to go back to the age of 18. That was not fun. And so the proof is there. But I just lost my train of thought. But it's one of those you just kind of have to see. But your body transforms within 7 years. So when you can see that kind of a track record, I'd say that's a big benefit for somebody. So, but you're going to have those skeptics. Oh, Wellness Advisory Board. That's what I was going to say to you. 2 of them actually saw this the same way that you saw it. A friend introduced it to them. They saw the concept and they said, you know what? We have a lot of health challenges, but I don't want to be closed-minded to anything, but I think you're full of bull, is what they said. And the only reason they ordered the entire Be Fulfilled pack is to prove that it was hocus pocus, that it didn't work, and it could never do anything. And what happened is their health changed, that they had to eat their words, and that they now absolutely love and support this company and believe in what it stands for. And that is 2 of the people on the Wellness Advisory Board. These are very smart, brilliant people that have had a million things that people have gone to their office telling them about, but this is something that they chose to prove wrong, and it actually wound up proving them wrong because they changed their health because of it. And one of them actually walked away from her regular practice and now does a functional medicine version of it because she can no longer do the medical side of it. She said, I can't do this. I feel like I'm hurting people instead of helping them. When I know that there's a better way, I want to be able to have an open conversation with my patients, letting them choose whatever route. If they want a pill, fine. But if they want something that is more natural and to figure out where medicine is needed and where they can actually get their health back in a natural way, I'm going to give them the full scope. I'm going to give them the full picture. So it's those people that really get me excited. So hopefully that helps. Ashley Martz, you said, any info on a parasite cleanse for Amy? Danielle and I have actually been using with Lori Otto a parasite cleanse that is absolutely fantastic. Cannot believe what is coming out of my body because I've done several parasite cleanses and I'd cleaned out my body for so many years, and so I was like, I don't know what could actually get things out, but Noni can help get parasites out. Liquid Cleanse can help get parasites out. But if somebody's ready for like a serious level of getting parasites out, I would highly recommend getting started on the line to get your body in a healthy, happy state. Second, I would make sure that you've utilized the Noni and the Liquid Cleanse. And do not start a parasite cleanse until you have 1 to 3 healthy bowel movements every single day. Last thing you want to do is kill parasites and then have them stay in there. Yuck. And you need to make sure that you are consistent with it. And so we can definitely fill you in. Danielle, I say that would be a really beneficial thing for us to do a video on with Lori talking about parasites, because Lori Otto is really the expert on that. And so we'll do a video if she's up for it, talking about her experience with parasite cleanse. But the one that we have been utilizing is amazing, but it's been on back order. So it's going to be back in stock within the next month. When I know that when I tell you about it, that you can order everything and start right away, that's when we're going to do a video on it in this group, because it's really powerful, really beneficial. I have gotten at least 3 foot long parasites out of my body. Nasty, but yes, I totally looked at my poo. Whew. Anyway, it was exciting for me. I love poo. But that is what we will do for you and explain that. But here's what I want you to do first. Get your body in a strong, healthy state so that it's no longer a breeding ground for toxins and parasites. Number 2, make sure that your bowel movements are consistent so that when they die, they go out. And then that's when you're going to be ready for the parasite cleanse. And we'll do that and share that with you. So it's my commitment to you, Danielle. Lori and I will tag team that and figure out how we can give you that information, but it's so powerful and really beneficial for your health. Danielle even saw, fuel up with Pure first. Make sure your bowel movements are consistent. But rib flare is something that Danielle and I both struggled with. Her ribs came down drastically. All those parasite suckers died in her rib cage, and now she's tinier right in that rib cage area. So yep, Danielle's telling you what I'm telling you. Regular bowel movements are a must first, but this company is amazing, and I'm very thrilled with how they've handled things. So we will share that with you soon. So with that, that wraps up today. Oh my goodness, my brain got a workout. I know it's all on back order now, so I'm not going to tell you that, but so not rib pain, well, rib pain can do it, but rib pain, and then the rib flare where it flares out instead of being in. Oh my gosh, yeah. So, whew. Yes, Tisha will tell you about that. Danielle's gotten 3 footers out. I mean, and other people who will remain nameless at this until I know I have their permission, they've had 3 footers come out too. So, oh my goodness, it's seriously crazy. Could that be where what's coming from? Oh, rib pain? Yeah, Carrie Ann, I bet it could be. And if you're doing the noni and the cleanse, it could be killing some of those. So, you know, this is something that I utilized Pure for years, and I still had parasites in me. And so I needed to get it to even, it is Danielle's favorite subject. I needed to take it to another level. I did 1 cleanse. It got some things out, not everything. I saw a lot of liver flukes come out. That was really powerful. Then I did a gallbladder flush, got out a lot of gallstones. That was cool. And I added this one recently. It was after Israel that I added this, and oh my goodness, I had no idea that was living in my body. But when I looked up things, it was clear that they had been there for at least 10 years. So the good news is that this gets your body in a healthy, happy state and makes it to where it's not a breeding ground for parasites. But I want to make sure that you have all the tools ready to go, because when you really figure out what parasites are doing in your body, you want them out yesterday. So as soon as I know that all 4 of the items, and it's really simple to take, you take 2 things in the morning on an empty stomach, then you take 2 things a little bit later on in the day. So we kill the parasites, then we have a sticky substance that pulls them out and gets them out through the bowel movements. Then you kill them again, then sticky substance, pull them out. So that's the process, and it's as simple as taking capsules 4 times a day. You could do it 2 times a day, but 4 times is more beneficial. And so it's very simple to incorporate. You don't have to be close to the bathroom. Not one of those where you're like, oh shoot, like I have to take off a week of work. Nothing like that. So we will share that with you as soon as we know that you can actually order those 4 capsules. So, all right, with that is a wrap. Again, don't forget we have the Peach Booty behind the scenes look with Christina Harmsworth. The fabulous brains behind XMH Beauty. If you've not checked out XMH Beauty, I highly recommend it. That is what I'm rocking today. And I just really appreciate that it goes along with Pure. She uses the European standards. European has banned over 1,000, it's either 1,400 or 1,600 chemicals that you cannot have in the makeup line in order to be sold in Europe. You know how many the US has banned? 30. So it really makes no sense whatsoever when you are cleaning your body out and really seeking this higher level of health that you would put a whole bunch of garbage that's going to disrupt your body on your face. And so I really love the XMH Beauty line because I'm not compromising the look that I want for my makeup, but I'm not compromising my health either. So that is a phenomenal line that I have been so happy with the results and so happy with Xena and just her customer service. And when you buy their makeup, it helps to free kids from the sex trade. So I am proud to put on my makeup every day and know that it's not just for what I look like, it's standing for something bigger. So anyway, that is it for me today. I will be talking about organic sulfur. If you have ever wanted to know the really nerdy side of sulfur, I'm getting deep on this one, like a 5-page document that I'm actually going to be going over on all the benefits and some of the studies and different things in the Peach Booty behind the scenes. So if you would like to be a part of that and you're not already, put a peach in the comments, and I will talk to you soon. So love you. Thanks for tuning in. And Peggy, thank you so much for marking all of this.